Hello, I'm John from J&N Travels. Since cruise ships won't be sailing for 100 days and travel is all in limbo, I have just one news item for you today. The title is 9 Ways That Disney Theme Parks Will Probably Be Different When They Reopen. For the first time in history, all the Disney theme parks around the world have been closed for multiple weeks. Disney has used the term indefinite, so while we don't know exactly when the parks will reopen, we do know they'll look different when they do. Basing the information on what we've seen at Disney parks in Asia, which are further along the virus curve than the US, in addition to what the US parks were doing just before they closed, and remarks from Bob Iger, we are going to make some assumptions on what we will probably see when Disney reopens. Number 1, phase reopening. When Disney World closed in March, it closed in phases. First came the park shutdowns, followed by the closures of the resorts and the Disney Springs shopping and dining area. For several weeks now, Shanghai Disneyland, which was the first of the parks to close, has been in a phased reopening that has started with the resort hotels, shopping, and dining areas. Number 2, temperature checks. The aftermath of 9/11 brought us bag checks at Disney parks, a security measure that remains in effect today. While it will be a major change that will slow down entry to the parks, it wouldn't be impossible for Disney to pull off temperature checks, as it already has been utilized at portions of Shanghai Disney Resort that have reopened. Touchless temperature checks were also being done on passengers boarding a Disney cruise in the weeks prior to the suspension in March. Number 3, eliminate fingerprint scans. Just before the shutdown, many people were declining to use a fingerprint scanner to enter the parks, as it seemed like an obvious potential home for germs. At that time, declining to use a fingerprint device meant a trip to get services, forms to be filled out, IDs to display, photos to take, and then a return trip to the line to enter the parks. Avoiding the scanner was possible even before the closure. I am going to make the assumption that photos kept on file will now be used instead of fingerprinting. Number 4 is mask requirements. In Shanghai, guests at the reopened Disney shopping, dining, and hotel areas must wear a mask during the entirety of their visit, except when dining, in addition to social distancing. The cast members at the resort also wear masks. So will masks be required at the US parks? I'm not sure. Let's not forget it's 100 degrees and humid at Disney World in the summer. As the country develops a deeper understanding of the virus and as people everywhere are encouraged to wear personal protective equipment, it's not impossible to believe that masks could have a permanent role at the U.S. Disney parks, especially if that helps the parks reopen sooner. Number 5 is virtual queuing. How do you maintain a safe social distance from others at theme parks with tens of thousands of daily visitors? One way is to reduce congestion is to eliminate lines. We already know that Disney has a capacity to utilize virtual queues since the process has been in use for the popular Rise of the Resistance attraction since it opened in 2019. This works by having Disney guests use an app to join a virtual queue that will ultimately tell the guests when to return and join the physical line. This eliminates the need to pack guests into one long line together for hours. This technology can be rolled out to additional popular attractions that traditionally have long lines to help disperse guests around the parks. Number 6, skip the pre-show. Many Disney attractions tell a story, and part of that scene is often set with a pre-show experience that packs dozens of people together in a tight space to watch a video or experience another form of storytelling before getting to the actual moving attraction. This isn't something I want to happen, but it's possible that the pre-show attractions could be canceled, at least for a period of time. Number 7, suspension of parades and shows. Disney will likely seek to eliminate as many obvious sources of overcrowding as possible, and the famous parades and fireworks shows immediately come to mind as being problematic in a world where social distancing is still the top of the mind. After all, these are the moments when the majority of Disney guests simultaneously flood entire sections of the park. So when Disney parks reopen, parades and shows may not immediately reappear, or at least not in the way that we've enjoyed them in the past. Number 8 is reduced capacity. Typically, Disney World only hits maximum guest capacity and closes its gates to additional guests on a very limited number of dates each year, specifically Christmas through New Year's. It is entirely possible that Disney or local officials may decide that the safe number of guests for the park is lower than what traditionally is permitted. It's also possible that the operating hours will be reduced to allow more time for deep clean procedures to be conducted each evening at the parks. Number 9, hand sanitizing stations. The week the U.S. parks closed, we saw mobile hand washing and hand sanitizing stations pop up all around the parks. It's all but guaranteed we will see more of them when the parks ultimately reopen. In fact, for all the vast resources and technology Disney has at its disposal, it still may be one of the last places to reopen, simply because of the vast amounts of people that descend on the parks at one time. While there are concrete actions Disney can take to spread people out, the reality is that theme parks bring lots of people into very close proximity for prolonged periods of time. Please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button or click on the frog icon on the video. Don't forget to click the bell to get notified of our future videos. And of course, please click on the thumbs up.
And remember, stay young and have fun.